Hi, it's Jill Heimiller here with Robbie Samuels. Today we are going to be talking about Robbie and what he does in his day to day to make his business successful. So we'll start by introducing Robbie. You want to say hi?
Hi there.
Hi. So let's start with, do you want to just introduce yourself and say sort of, I guess if you have one name for what you do or share
Yeah,
what you were sharing with me before.
I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur who started out as a networking expert, spent a long time trying to become known as a networking expert and recognized as one. Pandemic disrupted my plans, and I have since then had quite a few different titles and different revenue streams. So, multi-passionate entrepreneur who really wants to support entrepreneurs being successful probably is the best encapsulation. I'm all about helping you be seen and be heard.
I love that. And how do you market yourself as helping people to be seen and heard?
Well, it really depends on which thing we're talking about. So if we are, if you're someone who's trying to get a new offer off the ground, right? We'll have a coaching conversation
hmm
about how to build an audience before you try to sell something. And that's the topic of my second book, Small List, Big Results. Launch a successful offer no matter the size of your email list. If you are a speaker or you're planning and organizing some sort of event, virtual or in person, we're going to talk about how to maximize those moments, how to design the experience. Purpose first design is this concept of people come into the experience thinking, feeling, and doing one thing. At the end of your time together, they're thinking, feeling, and hopefully ready to do something else. This is the transformation, and these are the objectives. So we'll have a conversation about that so that both you feel seen and heard, but so do your participants. And if you are a person who wrote a book to help you grow your business, I want to make sure that book isn't just a brick that's sitting there that you stand on for a few minutes as soon as it's published to say, like, how great is this? But it becomes a business asset that's actually propping open the doors between you and your prospects, between you and your referral partners, helping you be seen and heard by those in your network you've already built up that trust with so that they continue helping you creating new revenue and new media opportunities. So if you're showing up to a conference, right?
Yeah.
If you're just a person who's got a job, who's got to go to a conference, that was the topic of my first book. So I have four books. One's about networking at conferences. One's about building audiences before you sell something. The third one is about Zoom, transformative Zoom experiences. And my fourth is kind of meta. It's called Launch Your Book, An Entrepreneur's Guide to Reviews That Drive Revenue. And that one just came out this past summer.
Hmm. Oh,
I
awesome.
became known for my ability to get a couple of hundred written reviews on Amazon, and I'm not a household name. So how was I
Yeah.
doing that? And that eventually became, people were knocking at my door. My friend and mentor was like, "Why aren't you pursuing this?" And I decided to try it
Yeah.
out. 2 years later, I've built up a whole ecosystem, the BizBook Pub Hub. We host
hmm
free virtual networking events. I host Kindle flash sales 3 times a year for authors to collaborate and share their books with each other's audiences. I have a podcast called BizBook Pub Hub. And I'm a book launch strategist who collaborates with authors and their teams to help them get 50 or more Amazon reviews while building that
Look at that.
pipeline for their business.
You are, I think, a wealth of information then for anyone who is interested in growing their business. So,
I've tried
do
it
you
all,
take,
honestly. Jillian,
oh,
like
me
the truth
too.
of it is I have Man, I have attempted, worked at it, thought I was really on the precipice of something really big in 2020. My TEDx talk came out. I was going to be an overnight success, 10 years in the making, but my talk in January of 2020 was about networking at events, which was the topic of my previous decade of work.
Yeah,
It became a moot point.
with
And
COVID.
March 13th, 2020, I hosted my first virtual happy hour. And by the end of like the year, like by October, November, I had a thriving 6-figure business, all new revenue streams, and I'd become the virtual event design consultant and executive Zoom producer. People wanted
It's
to know how that
amazing.
happened. So like everything sort of evolved, but I have seen it all, and I've coached
Yeah.
many a person through their own trials and tribulations.
I think you hit it on the head. I think as an entrepreneur, um, I feel similarly. I've tried so many different paths and things, and I think what kind of makes us all stand out, if you'll allow me to say that and group you with me, is you just don't stop. It's like a door gets slammed in your face, which actually happened today. No- And it's like you have to just like block it out. Like it's not even a personal thing. It's just okay, so now instead of going in this direction, you're going to go this way and see what's going to happen. And I think that speaks volumes about your character and the fact that you've been able to make a six-figure business. And I'm super curious of how you decided to write a book and how you began, because I know a lot of people, or not a lot, probably four, who have written a book, and then they just sell it on Amazon versus like trying to go to a large publisher. So I'm just curious if you want to share sort of your insight on that of how you did it and what you did.
Sure. So I'm a professional speaker and I'm a part of the National Speakers Association for over a decade. And in 2015, when I first started showing up at their meetings, the message was loud and clear that if I was going to be well paid, I needed a book. And so I spent a couple years starting and stopping yet again the process of writing
Yeah.
a book because I hadn't been the
Yeah.
first time I thought about it. Finally, I had a book in 2017, and the book I was self-published in the sense that I didn't have money, and so I paid
Okay.
people who I could afford, and I had to then
Yeah.
do a lot of research to figure out how to make it look like a professionally designed book because the people I hired did not know that.
Right.
Um, the book was within a few weeks of being published, and I realized that it was a good book and that I wanted people to read it. I didn't just wanna have a book, and
Right.
so I actually stalled the publication, built a launch plan based
Wow.
on my understanding of networks, right? Because the book
Okay.
was about networking, and I
Yeah.
set a goal to get 100 reviews, written reviews on Amazon, and I did it, and that book now has about 200 reviews. So that was how it started, but I didn't plan
That's
to write a second
awesome.
book. As much as I had learned about book 1, I wasn't really in the I was like, "Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
kind
did
of a
it
lot of
now."
work.
Yeah. Book 2 happened because everybody was like, "How did you turn your business around so quickly?" And I hear you about the free I felt, like, very free in 2020 to try things because no one was being super
Yeah,
critical of other people's attempts. We were all just, like, doing our best, and if you
I
tried
know.
something and didn't work, but you learned from it and you kept going, like, that fortitude and that spirit and resilience was really important then, and it continues to be.
Yes,
So I wrote a
I
book
know.
that really helped people realize that I was a business coach, that did business
Yeah,
strategy, revenue strategy, growth strategy. So that came out in 2021. And then I
okay.
realized I really should write a book about Zoom since I had poured myself
Yeah,
into learning the nuances of Zoom for 3 years.
interesting.
So that book came out in March
Okay.
23 on the third anniversary of my first virtual happy hour. And I finally came out with the fourth book because I wanted to teach people my process and then brand myself as a book
Yeah,
launch strategist. So each book has tied to it a business revenue plan, and that's the piece
mhm,
some authors miss. Whether you're traditionally published, hybrid published, self published, some combination of these things, you got to know why you're doing it. You have to have a particular audience in mind, and you should know that the marketing really is on you, and particularly the launch, which is the
yeah,
piece that overlaps before the book is fully published and before you announce it to the world, and most
okay.
authors skip this step. I offer a complimentary 30-minute book launch brainstorming
Wow,
session, or people already have a book, a relaunch brainstorming session, and
wow.
I'd be very, very happy.
Whoops, hold on one second. I'm not sure somebody else is in our room. Hold on.
Were you expecting someone to join you on the call later today?
No, not right now, so hold on one second.
If it helps, scheduled for half an
Oops,
hour from now, but I got an email this.
jeez. All right, that might be some time zone issues. Would you mind if we talk in a little bit? Thanks, Andy. Well, that was pretty funny.
I also find it really interesting that Riverside just let someone hop on your stage and you didn't have to like
Yeah,
elevate them.
I actually am kind of shocked because they do this like that is their platform is like letting people in and he's not on this invite. So I'm not sure how he was able to just get in, but I will definitely delete that whole part from the segment. So I think I think that so it sounds like at this point for you, you are offering like coaching to individuals who write books. You have a lot of different services. I love the idea of the Zoom book. I'm going to check that out personally cuz
It was
Zoom.
called, Break Out of Boredom: Low-Tech Solutions for Highly Engaging Zoom Events. And what I
Love it.
wanted to say is that I offer
Yeah.
a complimentary
Yes.
30-minute book launch brainstorming session or relaunch brainstorming session, happy to have a conversation, whether you're getting ready to write a book, you're in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
writing a book, you're about to publish a book, you already have a book, wherever you are in that journey. I'm all about educating. I've set my goal at educating 1,000 authors, either directly or indirectly, over the next 3 years. So
Wow.
even by you bringing me on here, I want to teach people more about this process, what metrics of success to focus their energy on, and what are vanity metrics. So go to booklaunchbrainstorm.com. If you want to learn about me generally and like get all the bonus content for all of my books, you can just go to
Yeah.
robbiesamuels.com. All of my books are on my homepage. Each one of them has bonus content. Some has lots of bonus content. You can really DIY your way through the process. And of course, you can always reach out to schedule a conversation to see about my coaching packages, my book launch strategy packages. If you need an event designer or a Zoom producer or an MC or a
Mm-hmm.
speaker, like I really am here to educate people and
I
help
love
them be
that.
seen and be heard.
I love that. And I guess since I'm in marketing, I'm curious, where do you get your leads from or how do you market? Is
Well, this
it
is
now
actually an
like
interesting
residual
question,
at this
Jillian.
point?
So I have this really incredible thing where people are paying me to be vetted, which is a very strange circumstance that I could not have
Yeah.
foreseen 5 years ago.
Okay.
I have this Kindle flash sale 3 times a year, and I
Mm-hmm.
do all this work to help authors find each other and do the collaboration, and we do the cross
Wow.
promotion on Kindle. People lower their book to 99 cents. We cross promote. The most likely candidate for my services is an author who has one book who's thinking about book two. And the reason is
Mm,
they had lessons learned from book one and they want to do things differently and have better outcomes for book two. So that puts me into conversations. I also built up this BizBook Pub Hub, which
okay.
has hub partners, which is a referral network. And people pay a monthly fee to be part of the hub as a hub partner, referral partner. And so we're all helping each other out, and I'm sort of maintaining and managing it. Now, the money from these fees is not very much. It's like $25, $75. It's not individually
Yeah.
very much, but it helps
Affordable.
me get more qualified prospects on those 30-minute calls. So I'm
Yeah.
actually having conversations with entrepreneurial authors. And then the third thing is by writing books that are so relevant to the topics that I can provide value for. Um,
Yeah.
the best prospects are the ones who go to booklaunchbrainstorm.com, see that my book, Launch Your Book, is the top page, read the book, get the bonus content, follow the steps, start building their launch team. And then 2 weeks later, they're on a call with me. I've had this happen now a couple of times. And they're like,
Wow.
okay, so and so, told me about you. I went into your page. I saw your book. I got your book. I have 432 people on this list. Hi, what do I do? What's next?
Yeah.
How do we work
Yeah.
together? And they're like, they have done all the work to
Yeah.
recognize the bigger problem from the problem they thought they had,
Yeah.
realize there was a solution out there that made sense to them, realize that I would be the guide for implementing that solution, and had urgency because the book was coming. And
Right.
so by the time they got on the call, they were like, let's go, let's do this. And so
That's
the
awesome.
30-minute call comes to be like a 42-minute call while we're talking about the
Yeah.
logistics of the last next steps,
Yes. No, that's awesome.
and we get started. And so the best thing you can do is like provide good content out in the world. Don't gatekeep. I host free virtual networking events every single month
Love
through
it.
the hub. There are events that I'm hosting through the National Speakers Association. There are events that I'm hosting. I host events for coaches and consultants and speakers on my
Wow.
own.
Yeah.
So, there's just being present, offering value. I mean, that when the pandemic hit, my mantra was show up and offer value. I just had to
Yeah.
find a new way to do so. So
Yes.
this is how I'm telling you my story, but I'm also trying to say how others can do this in their own way, maybe scaled
Yeah.
down a bit. But if
I
you
love it.
become known as a person who's a great resource and you say yes to opportunities like this one, that
Yeah.
that's
Thank you.
really it. So the
I
marketing
love
is
that.
less like, I mean, yeah, I do social media, I do all that, but like that's because I have good content to share. The podcast has one-on-one interviews with our experts, our hub partners. It has
Mm-hmm.
panels of authors who are talking about their author journey and the ROI of publishing a book for their business.
Wow.
And we also interview really successful authors who have done like their businesses are really built up and the book was part of that business success.
Yeah.
And these are all things people can learn from. So I'm also getting leads from people who say, oh, I follow your podcast. And the
Yeah.
last thing I will say is AI has
Yeah.
referred people to me. So
Really?
I had two people who in the like who referred you, they said AI search. And so I asked a friend, type in book launch coaching or book launch questions in there. And
Yeah.
like, she's like, you were the top one referred. And so that's by cumulative information that's out there, becoming
That's
a good
awesome.
resource. So you have to be a little bit ubiquitous, honestly, but in the right circles, not
Yeah.
necessarily like I'm not on TikTok. I can tell
Yeah.
you I'm not on Pinterest. I could be, 100% could be,
Yeah.
but you have to choose like where most of your people and then provide great value to them and ways in that doesn't cost a lot of money and continue the
I love
conversation
that.
from there.
Well, and I think you are in a true example of, you got into one thing and it's sort of you had to pivot and now you're in something totally different, but you're thriving. And I think that's amazing.
And
Um,
I'm going a talk in a week about networking at events at an in-person event for a women's business chamber meeting.
wow.
That is my topic that I did from like 2006 to 2019,
Yeah.
early 20. And then, I did a virtual version for a long time. But you don't have to leave behind expertise. You can grow. And once you're
Yeah.
perceived as an expert in one thing, it's actually much faster to be perceived as an expert for another thing. So it didn't take me nearly as long to be perceived as a
Yeah.
Zoom expert as it did a networking expert, right? Like these
Right.
things build on each other.
Yeah. Which makes total sense. And I think that's important too for people who are in their 40s and changing careers. There's lots of people who, I was one of them who, it's like I did a certain thing. I was a life coach and a dietitian and all of this. And, it's like I've taken that into like consulting with people and a lot of the skill set transfers and you had to kind of learn different things, but you just kind of like do it as you grow and need to. So I think that, yeah, again, I think you're a success story for everyone. Um, and I'd like to just offer you, if you'd like to plug your business one last time, and then if you want to stay on for a few minutes, so we'll just wrap up.
Absolutely. I definitely suggest everyone check out BizBook Pub Hub. It's a podcast. There's a community, referral network, author events. So if you're an entrepreneurial writer or author, great resources there. We also have a lot of things related to people who are trying to get more into speaking, professional speaking. But my website really is the portal to a lot of different spaces, including my Content and Connection Club, which is a membership community that I run for a really low cost, $100 a month, a mastermind as a way in to people
Yeah.
who just need that space to kind of collaborate with their peers. But yeah, go hang out there and also find me on LinkedIn. I would love people to send me a note saying how they found me, that they heard me and Jillian
Yeah.
talking. Love to connect, post a lot on LinkedIn. So thank you for the
Awesome.
invitation.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Sammy. I'm looking at Robbie saying your last name. Thank you, Robbie, so much for being a guest today and sharing about your business and journey. And I think you're one of the most unique and interesting people who I've had on. So I'm excited. I'm going to certainly check you out a little bit more after too. So
Awesome.
thank you so
Sounds great.
much.
Thank you so much, Jillian.
Yep.